From Boston, Massachusetts to Adelaide, Australia, and everywhere in between. Talking local and national sports and just about anything discussed in a tavern. Broadcasting from South Lyon, Michigan. Welcome to Easy Speak at Speakeasy 330 with your hosts, Rich and Tom.
This song feels good. I don't know about you, but it feels good to me.
It is glad to say we are back after what seems to be a half a year hiatus.
It's been like a forever hiatus.
Yes, I know. Super Bowl was our last show.
Actually, I think it was the week before Super Bowl.
Before Super Bowl.
We planned on doing one, but we just didn't get to it.
Life gets in the way, whether it be personal issues, whether it be family things that, baseball and whatnot. But needless to say, we're here now, and it feels good to be back.
Yeah, we were supposed to do this before the weekend, and had some technical difficulties. The MacBook wasn't charging, and it wouldn't fire up about 20 minutes ago, so
we were scrambling.
Had to go back to Old Faithful. We got Old Faithful, and
it's got about 4 inches of dust on the old Dell, but
it does.
Here we are.
It does. It has a lot of dust on it, but hey, it loaded up and everything like that, and
it's been pretty funny the last few months. If I had a nickel for every time somebody asked me, when are you guys going to do a show again, I probably would have about $2.25. But
yeah,
but a lot of people.
But just to kind of give everybody an update, it's just been busy life. I mean, life has been busy. Kids, activities, new jobs, new opportunities. Yeah, it's just been busy as hell. But definitely glad to be back. Talk a little bit of Detroit sports. I mean, a lot of it, instead of going around beating a dead horse, we're going to try to be a little more optimistic, because the landscape of Detroit sports is in shambles.
When you sit here and say the best organization in Detroit sports
is the Pistons,
the Lions.
Yeah,
I think. Yeah. I mean, from top to bottom.
The Pistons are there too.
Oh no! Oh, there we go.
No, that's that camera right there. That went wonky on there. So you just keep talking. I'm gonna go fix that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's just the way that the Lions are built. I think, I can speak for most Lions fans, most Detroit fans, that I think they finally got it right. Sheila Hamp Ford has definitely cemented her place and put the right pieces in place to maybe go make a run at this thing. I mean, I'm not, drinking the Kool-Aid or eating the cornbread yet, but when you look at a front office aspect, they're bringing back some of their former legends. Chris Spielman, Barry Sanders is a big piece of the puzzle now. There's grumblings of Megatron being more proactive with the team, as long as he gets paid, which he rightfully should. But I mean, they're doing what they need to do, and if this draft is any indication of the direction they're going,
I'm back, I guess, a little bit.
It could be, within the next maybe 2 or 3 years, it could be exciting. I'm not jumping on the 8 to 9 win bandwagon yet.
No, absolutely not.
But I think seven is, possible. Their schedule is friendly, but
I got a lot of people taking 10 and 7 route. But that's because there's some toss-up games in there that we look at and we know, but I'm more of maybe like a 9 and 8 or an 8-9. It could go either way.
If they go 9 and 8, I would be ecstatic just making that jump from 13 and 1 to 9 and 8. That would be great. You got MCDC with another,
Can we sack that nickname?
No, I like it though. Motor City Dan Campbell. All right, DC.
Who's
calling plays?
I'll do DC.
Who's calling plays? You look at Ben Johnson now, their new OC, and all indications are once Dan Campbell kind of took the reins, Ben Johnson was a little bit more proactive in the offensive strategy. Campbell was calling plays, so it'll be interesting um, to see who's going to be the play caller. And what I was hearing today was, of course, you get all these people, off season that, well, Jared Goff he feels better now than he ever has. It's the old Miggy looks good in the offseason reset.
Miggy's in the best shape of his life.
Right.
He's dropped 30 pounds. He's back to running a 4.40.
Yep.
Yeah. But you look at Goff, and we're not asking the guy to come in and be special.
No.
We're looking for somebody who can come in, manage the scheme, and be effective.
Sure. Don't make mistakes.
Again, the camera went out again.
The old, game manager type of thing with him.
I'll be right back.
He's got the tools around him. I think it's safe to say that their wide receiver room is much improved, barring no injuries moving forward. So, and what their running game looks like. So, to me, the X factor here is Hockenson is, this is a contract year for him. If Hockenson can somehow figure out how to be a difference maker, that could be the key to Jared Goff having a successful season. But he's kind of disappointed in the last couple of seasons, which has been really bad because he's got a lot of hype, and I know he's given his body up a lot of injuries. But if he can stay healthy and he can contribute, then you know what? There's no reason for me to think that they don't compete for the North. And obviously, Aaron Rodgers is there in Green Bay, so that's really never gonna bode well for the Lions. But if they can compete for second place with Minnesota, who a lot of people are down on Minnesota, they got a good team. They might have the most complete team in the North, in my opinion. But
yeah, Minnesota is a team that sometimes it can be scary good, but it all revolves around whether or not Kirk Cousins plays well.
Yep.
If Kirk Cousins is in the tank, they don't play well.
Yeah.
If he's a guy who, I'm not even saying goes in and throws, 20 completions, or a guy, if he protects the ball, and they were being successful running the ball, which with Dalvin Cook, 9 times out of 10 you are, but
he's not. He's a China doll.
He still has to be there.
Yeah. So recapping the draft, which in my opinion, I know I just said that about 3 minutes ago, but
your opinion?
In my opinion.
In your opinion.
I think they won the draft. I think they did a hell of a job, obviously bringing in Hutch, which
well, you know what? I'm going to stop you right there. They did do well in the draft, and I kind of can mimic what you said. I think the biggest thing and the stigma behind the Detroit Lions and with Detroit fans is, here we are again.
Mm-hmm.
Who are we taking?
Yep.
And is it going to happen again? Are we going to shit the bed again when it comes to draft picks? And I think, honestly, for the first time ever, I'm going to say I'm cautiously optimistic, but it's more towards a very optimistic side of that cautious optimism.
Yeah, you have to be,
just because of the fact that they fleeced the Vikings on this.
Yeah, they did.
They fleeced them.
Yeah. And their fans weren't happy about
for them to move up, especially to an
interdivision.
Yeah. And you go and you move up, and then you take a guy. Are you taking a gamble? Yes. But that is a big gamble it's high risk, high reward.
Yeah.
Because the speed of that guy is very comparable to none other than Tyreek Hill.
You look at who's their quarterback coach? Not their quarterback, one of the receivers coach for the Lions. I can't think of his name right now. He went to
Antoine
Randall L. Yeah, he played at Pittsburgh, went to Indiana University. I just seen a clip of when they made the trade and picked him up. He was in the hallways hooting and hollering. He was so excited to get that guy. And I think when we were watching it here,
I'd have been doing the gritty.
I don't want to see that. I don't want to see me do that either. It'd be considered the shitty. But anyway,
I can get Ryan to do it.
That would work.
Yeah.
But I think the indication when they drafted him, I think a lot of people were like, oh, this guy's coming off an ACL. He didn't look very enthused to get drafted by the Lions.
No, he looked like he didn't even want to be there.
But apparently he might have been living it up in Las Vegas the night before the draft. So
is that what the speculations are?
He said he had some commitments that kept him up pretty late. So he might have been making it rain in one of the local ballet gentlemen's clubs there.
That or he had some freaks.
But to me, the thing that I like about this draft, or there were players that were high on everyone's board. That the old regime, I think, would have probably just taken them because of the name, but they're like, nope, we're going to hold off. And their second round pick, Pascal, out of Kentucky,
yes,
SEC leader in sacks. I think that right there will be this year's Amon-Ra St. Brown, being who is going to be the steal of the draft, who's going to be the one guy that looking at it in the first place, like, I don't know. At the end of the season, I think with Hutchinson on the other end, I think Pascal is going to see a lot of action, and he's going to get to the quarterback a lot.
It's going to be trouble. It's going to be trouble.
They got two young guys on the bookends, as they like to say,
yep.
and they already have a fairly decent interior line. They did what they needed to do. They put pieces in place that could help them right now.
Yeah, and it's not like we're sitting here saying this draft was a make or break, or this draft was going to be, hey, it's gonna elevate us to the Super Bowl. Believe me, I'm not going to sit here and say that right. after the second draft with Brad Holmes. However, what he did last year and what he did this past year, I think we're trending towards the way of again, cautiously optimistic on seeing how
building that foundation,
how well they're building the foundation that they need. And honestly, I mean, I see nothing but bright things in the future. And interesting fact is that Amon-Ra St. Brown didn't have a drop pass last year.
He was the only one with 70 catches or at least 70 catches that had a drop rate of zero.
Yeah. And having him in there, and then they picked up DJ Shark, and so and I think they brought back
they brought back Reynolds.
Yeah. I
which is
Goff and him had some chemistry to begin with.
When they picked him up, I think
that's going to be good for him.
When they picked him up, Goff seemed to build on his confidence. It was almost like, all right, a friendly face,
familiar face in the locker room, it's a familiar guy in the huddle.
And the great thing about that move to me was he wanted to be here. Not many players will honestly say, I want to come to Detroit. This guy got here and he fell in love with the locker room, and he was given an opportunity.
Well, I don't know. Judging by that AT&T commercial, I think Matthew Stafford wants to come back.
I think
he wants to come back.
I think Matthew Stafford wants to go work with Lily. AT&T, take her in the back room. But
there you go.
This draft to me, we'll see 2024, 2025. I think that's really realistically when you're going to really see it pay off. So we'll see about that.
But but before we get going or whatever, I do want to, we got some comments coming in here. QB1 is just absolutely just lighting it up right now. But I do want to say thank you to those who had reached out and asked us when we were going to go again and everything like that. And thank you for being understanding on, and being understanding about, life gets in the way. But with that being said, I'm I'm not going to make a commitment to being here every week right now, just because I'm going to be out of town quite a bit in the next couple of weeks. But for sure, on a more frequent basis, and really dive into some more, and then also want to give a shout out to the boys of the OC. They have suffered just as well as we have when it comes to making podcasts and stuff like that. So for those who don't know, Coach Pat is my son's baseball coach as well. So when he's out, I'm out, type deal. But I've stopped by the shop today, picked up more stuff that I don't need. But with that being said, look forward to another show with the boys.
I'm sure they're chomping at the bit too.
Yeah, for sure. But let's move on.
The other dumpster fire in the city of Detroit, the state of the Tigers. They're playing right now. They're tied with the team that's ahead of them in the division, the White Sox.
The White Sox have they got riddled with injuries, but I think the biggest thing holding them back is the crypt keeper of a manager that they have.
They're calling for his head.
Tony La Russa is terrible.
Chicago in the South Side.
The game has passed him by.
I think it has.
And the best thing they would do is just say, "Hey, Tony, thanks for the time. We appreciate it. We got to look another direction."
He's already said he's not managing after this year.
Oh, he shouldn't have managed this year. He should have been.
Well, they should have pulled the plug on him last year when he got a DUI in the offseason.
The guy's on life support. We'll just put the guys on life support. But it just seems like every time you turn around, it was real promising at the beginning of the year. Riley Green, he was having a hot start in spring training. He was slated, then obviously, unfortunately, with the injury,
fractured foot.
Yep. But he's in a rehab assignment.
He's in Toledo,
and he's been tearing it up.
And you wonder how long they're going to leave him down there, because at this point they don't lose that year of eligibility with him. So I don't know. Maybe you give him another week or so, get him some at bats. Get that game speed up, and then
game speed will be huge for him,
because at this point, why not? I mean, you've got nothing to lose.
I was gonna say you have nothing to lose.
You have Mize is done for the year. He's gonna have Tommy John.
And here's the thing is, they put it off, but they should have just went in
right away.
Now I remember back when I was younger and was following baseball back in the. I'm obviously I still follow baseball, but I remember when Tommy John surgery was like
career.
It was like, he's out. But now it's like going to get your teeth cleaned.
Well, if you look back
so often,
if you look back into the heyday here in Detroit, '84, Frank Tanana. Frank Tanana was a fireballer when he pitched for the California Angels, and he had a Tommy John. I don't think they called it Tommy John back then.
Tommy John,
but he had to literally learn how to change his game completely. He went from a fireballer to crafty. He had that 12-6 curveball, and he could, pinpoint it on the plate a lot like Greg Maddux. Wasn't as good as Greg Maddux, but it changed the way that you had to pitch. Nowadays, it seems like some of these pitchers come back stronger.
Oh, yeah. And, one thing about Greg Maddux that you brought up, whatever, you don't ever want that guy to come and paint your house. Because he only paints the corners.
The corners.
That's all he does. He paints the corners.
That's it. So you have Mize that's done for, the rest of this year, probably all of next year. And then you've got Matt Manning, who, I have yet to hear what's going on with him as far as, why he is on the IL or whatever they call it. But he is beginning to throw again, so it sounds like he'll be back. But Pinero's got, it sounds like he's got an elbow issue.
Eduardo Rodriguez come back and said, "Hey,
Erod
said, I'm not coming. Hey guys, I'm not coming back for personal issues, stuff like that." Do you think maybe it's the fact that the team is absolutely a dumpster fire?
But if that's the case, then I don't want him in my clubhouse.
No.
If he's running for the hills right now because they're not winning games and they're not where a lot of people predicted them to be, good riddance. But I'm not buying that. I think it's a personal matter. He doesn't want to discuss. Hopefully it's not like life threatening, like something in his family or health related. But it sounds like he's probably going to be done for the year too. So, I mean, everything that has gone,
Just can't catch a break.
yeah, everything
We just
that's-
absolutely cannot catch a break.
everything that could have gone wrong with this team has gone wrong. And on top of that, you brought in Baez. You paid 36, 37 million for him. The guy has been a complete bust. As far as I'm concerned, he has zero plate
Discipline.
He swings at everything. He got it, a nice fly out, which scored a run, but earlier in today's game. But he's just and he's up there in the batter's box digging seeds out of his ass, throwing them in. It's like you're more worried about putting seeds in your mouth than what's going on as he swings at a ball that literally ended up in the left-hander's batter's box.
No, hold on. Hold on. I'm gonna defend the guy a little bit. I'm sure that he's worried about
he's very nonchalant, and I do not like that.
But you know what though? There's a lot of players that are like that. Some of the better players are more nonchalant.
If you're batting 280 up, I don't have a problem with it. He's batting 2 bills.
Yeah, but to go and say he's more worried about putting seeds in his mouth than
batting.
I think you're being a little egregious on that one.
I just think when you spend that much money on a guy.
But you know what though? Listen, during the course of every Major League Baseball player, they slump.
Oh, sure.
This is probably his slump.
He's in a 3-month slump.
And we get pissed off because we've overpaid for him.
Well,
and he's not producing. But realistically, you can't put that all directly on him.
No, I don't.
The entire fucking team.
The other free agent
signing,
Tucker Barnhart.
He's terrible. He's absolutely terrible. Gold Glove, my ass. Terrible.
He has not impressed me.
Here in Detroit, terrible. Cincinnati, great.
Sure.
Great.
Sure. But
I'll give him that.
But
terrible.
What happened? Like what how do you go from you bring him in for his defensive abilities?
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen him throw out anyone trying to steal. His arm is weak.
And that's the thing is when you looked at when they signed him, I was like, oh, okay. I could get down with it. I was like, okay. Me from seeing the games that he played in Cincinnati, I'm like, okay, he's very serviceable.
He's got a Gold Glove catcher.
Yeah. But then he gets here and it's like, dude, he's no better than what we had.
Nope.
It's like, where was the upside? The upside was, and that's one of the things, and we've talked about it 1,000 times offline and everything like that. When it comes to contracts and everything like that, I am a huge fan for paying a player for what he does for you. So I'm more in tune of a incentive heavy as opposed to like Miguel Cabrera. We should not be paying Miguel Cabrera that astronomical amount of money for what he did back in 2012.
Right. Well, they paid him to win the World Series, and
they didn't do it,
and it didn't happen. And now you're seeing, the ramifications of overpaying players. But yeah, I agree. When you get a player like a Barnhart and things like that, you bring guys in that give them that will. Like, okay, if I hit 20 home runs, that kicks a notch up. If I get 80 RBIs, if I bat 280, there's those levels that you would get more money. But just to throw this money at these guys and they're not performing. And two, with Baez, he's known for his glove.
And, he has been very suspect with his glove too.
I'm not impressed. I just, maybe I'm a little bit too critical, but I think the bottom line with this team is there's 5 starting batters in that lineup that are at or below 200.
Oh,
it's middle of June almost.
And the thing is when you look at it, Miguel Cabrera in the last, I would probably say 10, 15 games or whatever, he has been probably one of the more solid guys.
Well, he's leading the team. Go figure. He's the only one really contributing, it seems, to
you can't see that in the camera, so there's no sense in even messing with it.
Yeah.
It was a valiant effort.
It was a good effort.
Valiant effort. But yeah, so I mean, I think what needs to happen, there needs to be a change. There needs, we can sit here and cry for ownership change. That's obviously not going to happen because if I'm not mistaken, Ilitch had it set up to where his kids could never, ever get rid of the Tigers or the Red Wings and stuff like that. So we can cry all we want. Right. It's not happening. But what we can cry about is
general manager.
And I'm not saying that I'm not saying that Al Avila is terrible. He's probably good as like a vice,
Mm-hmm.
not as the president of
No.
operations.
Mm-mm.
No, it's general manager, president of operations, whatever you want to call him. I just don't think I don't think he has it. I'm sure he's very well respected around the league
Mhm.
for his years of service and like that.
And
But
it's Avila, by the way. Al Avila.
whatever, I don't care. But we got somebody leaving. Somebody's leaving. I'm not going to turn the camera on so they can't see her leave.
Oh, bye.
There she's leaving.
But with all the, I guess, turmoil that's gone on with this team, there are some bright spots.
There are.
You have Faedo, Alex Faedo, that's really looked well.
He
and
has.
Bo Brisky, don't let his 1-5 record, dictate his season. He's looked good for a guy that just was thrown into the mix, maybe for a spot start. Now he's part of the rotation.
But the thing is that no matter how good he is, you still have to put up more than like 2 runs, an average of 2 runs
that's
a game
just it.
in order for any pitcher to be successful.
They're,
so really, that's nothing to hang his hat on.
No, absolutely not.
Or
He's
be
getting
upset about. So
and he's getting really good major league experience, which moving forward will help him. And Skubal, he got his first loss since the end of April. His ERA it's like mid-2s. It's one of the top, in his first 10 starts of the season, one of the top in Tigers history.
that's
So,
pretty good.
but again, they're averaging under 3 runs a game. I don't care how good of a pitcher you are. That's just, it's not going to get it done. And my fear, and I think a lot of people have the same feeling with me, is how much is AJ Hinch going to take? This guy's a hell of a manager, and he's playing with a 4 cards in a 52 deck, and
Yeah, I can see him being pretty upset.
he's not the type of manager. He's coming off a World Series, the last time he managed. So, how much is he gonna be able to take? How much patience is he gonna have with the the front office to make sure they bring in the right pieces? And at this point, if he was to walk, it wouldn't shock me, because there's going to be teams. You look at teams, like the Anaheim Angels.
Yep.
They're going to be they're ready to win now, and they just fired Madden, which I think was a huge mistake. But they're going to be looking for a coach. The Cubs are always looking for a coach. So
to give you give you a little bit on the Tiger starters. So when you look at the ERA that we have, so the ERA, Tarek Skubal's got a 271. Next is Alex Faedo with a 292. Then you got Pineda, who's on the IL now, but he had a 322. And then you got Bo Brisky's at a 434. And then the Erod, he was a 438, but he's gone.
He was a disappointment.
Yeah,
for the most part.
And then Elvin is a 11.5.
Yeah. Well, I think in New York, AJ left him in way too long. Same with Toronto. They lit him up on Friday night, and I don't know. There was a thing that came out in New York, said he was tipping his pitches. Kind of the way he holds the ball. He was kind of his window. He'll take the ball out of his hand and then throw it. They were talking to some Yankee hitters. They're like, we knew what he was throwing, because I think they got 4 or 5 home runs off of him.
Jesus Christ.
And so he was throwing batting practice.
And another thing to look at is their bullpen has been solid.
One of the top in baseball.
Their bullpen has been solid.
One of the top in baseball. And I guess the believe in silver linings, or you take some things from this season. It is that their pitching has been pretty good, and I for the most part, their offense was not going to be a question mark. Akil Baddoo, he's not with the team anymore. He's down there in Lakeland doing a quote rehab start, which I don't know how much of that I believe.
So let's talk about that. So last year he was like the next best thing to sliced bread.
Yeah.
And he went down to Toledo, and then he went to West Michigan. He didn't even go to Erie. He went right to West Michigan.
Yeah.
Now he's down in Florida. you want to talk about a fall from grace. Hopefully he gets it back. He struggled at the beginning of the year. He struggled real bad. Just being able to get the bat to the zone,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Yeah, he was doing his. To me, I don't recall him. He was lifting his front foot. He wasn't keeping it down. So before the pitch was coming, his front foot was lifted up, and it just looked like when he was making his swing, he was very uncomfortable. But who am I? I don't know. It just seemed like his approach.
Well, you're Tom.
Yeah, his approach was a little bit different this year, but too, there's a lot of tape on this guy. He can hit a curveball, and it seems like everything they threw at him was.
He's the Pedro Serrano.
Serrano, yeah. I mean, they needed to put maybe Joe Boo in the locker, and have a little seance and help him out. But I wish him the best. He's exciting to watch, and his glove didn't falter. He played good center field, but we're loaded in the outfield. There's almost too much. So if you're not going to perform, you got to go. And unfortunately, that's where it'll end up. But
and we were talking about batting averages and everything like that. You look at it, and here's the guys that are under 200. You got Candelarios at 181. You got Baez at 197. You got Scope at 189. You got Torkelson at 186. I mean, you look at it and you're just like
Grossman.
Yeah.
Grossman's batting, I think, 200 now.
Yeah. You got Austin Meadows. He's batting, 246. Harold Castro's batting 282. You got Eric Haas at 186. Daz Cameron. I mean, the list goes on and on and on.
The two Castros are really the ones carrying them right now. Willie today, first pitch of the game, he put it in the left field or in the right field bleachers, but it's slim pickings who you're going to rely on, and it just goes to show you that why they're where they're at. They're 12 games under 500.
Yeah,
and fading fast. But
let me see. I wonder. I probably can't get it right now, but no big deal. But at the end of the day, the trade deadline is going to come up here towards the end of July. I mean, obviously the Tigers will be sellers. They'll try to move a couple pieces.
Scope will be gone.
I think Scope will get moved. Austin Meadows might get moved.
Could be, depending
on they still have control, so he's not a rental player.
Right.
So he might.
Grossman could get unloaded.
And I'll be honest with you, they could have just left Grossman. They could have got rid of him last year, and I'd have been happy with it. But then again, the Tigers, and that's another downfall of Avila.
Loyalty.
But last year there was teams. Was it last year or the year before? There was teams pawning for Matthew Boyd, over him. And he put that expectation up so high.
Yep.
Look, in Detroit, he meant the world to everybody.
Yeah.
But when you look at Major League Baseball, he didn't mean that much.
Well, it's the Bobby Higginson complex.
Oh my God.
Back in the day when Higgy had a huge year, the Yankees, they wanted him. And the Tigers said,
he was like, no,
thanks.
No,
we're gonna keep him. We're going to sign him to a mega deal, and not a mega pint, a mega deal. And
mega pint. I like that.
And what happened to Bobby Higginson? Well, he is on the wall of obscurity here at the Speakeasy.
Indeed, yes. I think I paid $5.
No, I bought that.
Oh, no, you bought that one. Okay, yeah.
I paid $12.
You paid $12
I was getting
an autograph picture.
Well, that was because Gonzo, the affinity with Gonzo, that was his favorite player growing up.
Well, you know what? Maybe Gonzo needs to find better players to enjoy. I ain't gonna lie to you.
He was, I think, 5 years old at the time.
Yeah. You know what? We all make mistakes, right?
Yep. So moving on to a more, brighter note, which unfortunately happened 25 years ago.
Hold on. Let's not go into that just yet. Let's talk about a little more doom and gloom, because since we're on the path of just destruction here. So the Detroit Red Wings, trust the Yzer plan.
Yes.
And I'm still full believer of trusting the Yzer plan. We need a coach. And
there's some good ones out there.
You got Trotz out there, but Trotz is going to be like, hey, I'm going to assess the room. You got that, but then you got Tortorella. I don't know if
he might be the the stopgap,
I don't, but no, to be honest with you,
but he might run people out
exactly.
because he's kind of a dick
What you look at, you look at how fast he wore his welcome out in Columbus.
with a good team. They couldn't get rid of him fast enough.
Okay, you had Patrick Laine, and Laine's like, I can't deal with this guy.
Mhm.
And then you had also before that, who'd you have? Dubois.
Yeah.
He's like, I want it. The guy's like, I want out of here so bad, I will go to Winnipeg. Oh, the cops. The cops.
It's hard out here in the streets of SL.
Yeah. The mean streets,
the mean
as the
streets
OC
of
would
South
call
Lyon. But you got Cassidy from the Bruins, but the problem with a lot of these coaches like Trotz is the reason why I don't think they went after Gerard Gallant last year. Those are coaches that are established, and they're going to want to come to a situation where they're ready to win.
No, the reason why they didn't want Gerard Gallant, in my opinion, it's Yzerman's buddy. Yzerman probably doesn't want to
have to fire him.
I don't think he wants to have to can his buddies.
Which leads me into the next thing.
Let's hear
it. The Vegas bet has Sergey 7-2 odds to be the next coach. He won a KHL. Did he win 2? Has he won 2 KHLs?
I think he's won 2. Yeah.
In this past year, he came back from 3-1, and if there's a league that's comparable to the NHL, it's KHL.
Yeah, it's a solid. It's definitely a solid league. I've watched a number of games, and it's funny because ESPN Plus will broadcast them, and they have English. They have
translator.
Well, no, it's not. It almost I'll be honest with you. It sounds like it sounds like Dave Strader. Obviously,
R.I.P.
Yeah, obviously he's not here, but the guy.
It's probably
like him, but
the interns that they.
But I mean, it's good. I mean, it's good. It's good hockey. They play at the Olympic size rinks and everything like that. But good hockey. Fedorov would be a good choice, but then you go to look and it's like, do you really want? Is he going to really hire a friend to come in and do something like that? My guess is probably no.
Would Fedorov want to come here knowing that 91's not hanging in the rafters? Does he feel a little bit slighted by that still?
All right. Well, since you brought that up, your opinion, do you think it should be in the rafters?
Absolutely. Even though it was kind of bullshit how he, parted ways, signing that offer sheet with Carolina, yeah, which he knew damn well he wasn't going to play in Carolina. Kind of,
he forced Ilitch's hand.
But what he did when he was here, without Yzerman, they don't win. I don't think they win a cup in 97. I think he was a huge.
You mean without Fedorov?
Without Fedorov, I'm sorry. What he brought, his game was unlike anything anyone's ever seen. He put up numbers that we never saw around here since Gordie Howe in all reality. So does he belong in there? Absolutely. 100% he does.
I think he belongs there for the sole fact that he is a Hall of Fame player.
Absolutely.
He is in the Hall of Fame. He is a Hall of Fame player. I think he deserves it. However, I think the way they left on bad terms is what is really going to keep him from being in there.
I know this is going to be a drop at some point. He rubbed Mike Ilitch the wrong way.
Got his cock clean.
Yeah. I don't know if he went that far, but I think in all reality, there might be something in the bylaws with the Red Wings that say 91 will not be in the rafters, and I think that's a travesty because he was the face. And as I turn around right behind you, there's Fedorov holding the cup. So
and that's the thing is we look at it from what he accomplished on the ice, but we also have to look at what the organization and he had to go through in order to.
It was a 3-year process. Wasn't it?
Be the player he was. I mean, he defected from his country. He, and those guys that played hockey, they were also signed up for the Red Army. So, he walked out on. He
turned his back on his country.
I mean, that's huge. Me personally, for him doing that and then also providing the Red Wings with years of Stanley Cup wins, I think right there would probably say, yeah, we've got to put 91 up on the rafters.
He deserves it. Absolutely deserves it.
All right.
But as far as him being the next coach, I think as a fan, seeing him behind the bench would be, kind of full circle. Like he started his career here, he had success here.
Yeah, but you know what you have to do though? You have to separate your emotions with reality.
Sure,
And
that's fandom though. That's the challenge.
And when you and I sit here and we talk about it and we look at it, we're like, yeah, what he did for us
Mhm.
as fans is like second to none. But then you have to look at it as like, all right, is he going to be a good fit? Is he
Right.
going to be a guy who's going to be able to mentor these players? Is he going to be a guy who's going to get the most out of his players? Is he going to be that guy to turn it around?
Right.
We don't know. Obviously, his track record in the KHL says otherwise,
Mhm.
but I'm still a firm believer to where I have a hard time with, like, I had a hard time with Yzerman coming back. And the reason why is because his legacy was so high for being the captain for all those years. To now, it's like, if he does not turn this organization around from the dumpster fire that Ken Holland left us in,
stain his
will that
legacy?
stain his legacy?
Yeah. I don't think so.
I'm with you. I don't think it will, but it puts kind of a sour taste in people's mouths.
Right. So we'll see. My opinion, I think they go and get the bench coach from Tampa. I think John Cooper's assistant. I think being familiar with Yzerman.
I will tell you right now, if Tampa Bay got bounced out of the first round of the playoffs, John Cooper was out the door and he's in Detroit.
At 100%, I agree.
That was
with you on that one.
That was my thought.
Don't put that past him not coming to Detroit now. Three cup runs in a row. What more does he have to do in Tampa? Like, does he have a good rapport with Yzerman? I'm pretty sure he does. He's local. Why wouldn't he want to come and finish his coaching career in Detroit? If I'm Yzerman, I'm throwing everything at him to bring him here. That would be huge. But we'll see. Time will tell.
All right. So 25 years ago, we were talking about this before the show. Actually, we talked about it last week. It was the anniversary. Was it June 4th or June 6th? One of those days when the
6th or 7th, something like that.
Yeah,
I think it was the 7th.
when the Red Wings won their first championships in 1954, 55.
It was 44 years, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Where were you at that day?
I was at the old Contractor Steel.
You were at work. Huh?
I was working the graveyard shift when that happened. Yeah, I mean, it was awesome. It was an awesome experience. I mean, for you and I, it was our first. Well, I shouldn't say it was our first championship since '84 because we had the Pistons run in the late '80s and '90s.
But I was an East Side guy like you. I was more on the West Side, so I didn't really, and I wasn't much of a basketball fan.
I was. Pistons were more near and dear to my heart. But I did, obviously, with the run that they went on, you followed it. But it was really exciting. I mean, the one memory that stands out for me is always the, McCarty's goal to win,
like the spinorama.
Do fake left,
Yeah.
goal right, brought the goalie right, and they just put for the game winner.
Oh, it was just like the spinorama after where he kind of did it like a spin
and pirouette and then hit the boards. Yeah, I mean, it was exciting times around here for that. And that whole season, if you look back with the rivalry with the Avalanche, the big fight, which I believe it will be out this weekend, the documentary, the E60 documentary on the rivalry.
Yes.
And boy, does that look.
Yeah, I can't wait to watch that. Oof. I think that's going to be a good one. Probably one of the most
heated.
I think one of the most memorable things, and it really didn't have to go with the game itself, is, and as much as of a homer, I guess you want to call me, but I was not a big fan of the Red Wings bringing in
McCarty.
No, Mike Vernon.
Oh,
I thought that Osgood could have taken him there, which he ended up taking him there the next year.
If I remember correctly, Osgood got hurt, didn't he? And that's why Vernon kind of.
No, Vernon was signed in the off season, and then they brought him in. Then they kind of shared time back and forth.
Yeah.
But they gave Vernon the nod. I mean, they gave Vernon the nod, obviously, because Vernon had more experience. That wasn't That wasn't his first Stanley Cup win.
Right.
You know, he won when he was with Calgary back in '89. But you know, they brought him in, and I felt kind of bad, and then they and then I want to in '98 I think Osgood won it in '98 for them, and then they got rid of him. And then they had like a plethora of other ones, like, you know, Curtis Joseph, and they had some of the other guys come in and stuff like that. You know, I thought that was kind of a dick move, and then he comes back in 12 and wins it again.
Wins another one, yeah.
Or no, 12 was Dominic Hasek, wasn't it?
Yeah, and he won it in 08.
08.
Yep.
Yeah. 08.
Real quick, is he a Hall of Famer? Chris Osgood.
I will tell you right now, he has some of the best stats of any goalie that's in the Hall of Fame. Yes, I do believe he should.
And he's
be a Hall
got
of
2
Famer.
cups.
I think he should be in the Hall of Fame.
Okay.
What about you?
I'm on the fence with this one.
Okay.
I guess
explain yourself.
It's kind of like the Stafford thing. Is Stafford a Hall of Famer yet? I don't think so. He goes out and he has another repeat season like he did last year, gets him to a Super Bowl, whatever, maybe.
But his stats.
I know his stats kind of speak for themselves, and he's maybe yes. Popularity comes into a lot of play. Chris Osgood was never a sexy name, and I think a lot of the writers who vote in these Hall of Famers, he wasn't real flashy. He just kind of did his job every day, and I don't know how much that hurts a player.
Yeah.
But I mean, looking at his stats, sure, yeah, he does. But you know, at what point do you say the door is closed? Because shouldn't he be up for Hall of Fame induction?
Yeah, he should be.
I mean, and you really don't hear any conversation about it. That's kind of what concerns me in that regard. That you really, when the Hall of Fame voting comes around, his name really isn't ever brought up too much.
So one of the last things I want to touch on with this subject, because we're getting pretty close to the time, but our time, that we have imposed for ourselves. But one of the things that I do want to say that it was kind of, we talked about 97. I told you that was kind of my biggest gripe after the fact that they kind of sold them out like that. But one of the things that was a couple of days after they won the championship was the accident that changed the lives for
Sergei Fedorov or Sergei Monatsakanov
and Vladimir Konstantinov. Yeah. And
who is in the documentary, by the way.
Yes. But that was sad. I mean, I remember that, and it was all because somebody had made poor choices and got into an accident, and it affected the life of 2 people very indefinitely.
And Konstantinov he hadn't even hit his stride yet.
And but there was also some other, there was other injuries and everything like that was involved with that, and it's definitely
Fetisov was hurt.
Yep.
He missed time the next year.
Yeah, so I mean that right there is it's a tough one.
The highs and lows. The peak of you finally win it.
And it's amazing how that happens. Is like I remember when they won, people were outside banging pots and pans and horns, people driving, honking horns, everything like that.
I remember driving to work,
cheering on the side of the road,
driving to work in that cup run. And they'd score a goal. I'm on the horn. I'm blowing the horn, and everybody on 696 and 275, they were doing the same thing. It was really cool for the city. Everybody seemed to really unify over that. That was awesome.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
Cool. Well,
it's a deep subject.
I think I'm done.
You're done?
I'm done.
We I guess for conversations moving forward, is the PGA Tour in trouble?
I don't care about golf. I don't care about golf.
Deshaun Watson.
Next subject.
Deshaun Watson. I mean, I'm talking conversations that we can have. On
Deshaun
Facebook
Watson. Hey, you know what? The man enjoyed hand jobs. Give him a break.
Do you think Baker Mayfield will be the starting quarterback in Cleveland? Because I do.
And that's why they haven't probably released him yet. It's probably because of the uncertainty behind what kind of penalties the league is going to levy down on him So I think that remains to be seen. I
They-
just think,
they-
I think Baker's getting kind of the raw end of the deal on this one because I think the Browns
They gave up on him too quick.
they gave up on him. The guy played on one leg last year, one leg and a half an arm,
So
and I don't think that was fair to him.
so their backup, CJ Beathard, they brought in on the offseason,
Yeah,
carried him off on a stretcher today.
did they really?
Yep. So it's looking more and more likely like Baker recovered, because he had shoulder surgery and whatnot. But it's not looking good for the Houston Texans either. I think they were complicit in all of this. Came out that they were supplying hotel rooms and making the women sign NDAs, which
That kind of sounds like your hands caught in a cookie jar.
Yeah. So this saga definitely is ongoing, and
Hey, listen, as my dad always said, if it looks like shit, if it sounds like shit, and it smells like shit,
it's shit.
it's shit.
It's shit. So, but Cleveland guaranteed $230 million. He's going to get paid whether he plays or not. I think
Crazy.
Deshaun Watson is one lucky SOB if that is the case. But it's something that's going to be evolving. Look forward to
More to come.
and we'll dive in on future shows about the SEC grumbling about maybe wanting to pull away from the FBS and create their own like super league. And I know I put a thing on Facebook
If
about it.
they can take Alabama. You can leave Georgia. I like Georgia. You can leave Georgia. You can take Alabama and shove it right up Alabama's ass.
Kirby and his advisor can go too.
Yeah.
But,
You can
so
put him
yeah,
in-
I mean,
hey, put Kirby in a regular hat. Wait, maybe we'll send him an Easy Speak hat.
I'm sure he'll wear that.
He'd be like,
but
hey, as long as we got a Georgia red and black, he might wear it.
we could do that definitely. But moving forward, yep, we'll not a weekly thing, but as things
Settle as things settle down, the schedule frees up a little bit more. There'll be more opportunity.
And when football season gets closer, there's always
Yeah.
that's always a hot topic that we like to discuss, and we can get a little bit more details in. But game 5 tonight in Golden State, the NBA Finals. I know Rich isn't a big fan. I think Golden State will end up winning this thing in probably 7. But the Cup Finals start on Wednesday between Colorado and Tampa. I like Colorado. Rich?
Oh boy. Everybody wants to see. Let's just go back. Everybody would like to see Tampa Bay three-peat. Everybody would. That's everybody in the state of Florida. Me, on the other hand, I'm tired of it. I think over the last couple of years, Tampa has exploited a loophole, which I'm not a fan of. And the NHL needs to tighten that up.
Mm-hmm.
But I honestly think that I think Colorado just have too much.
They have too much firepower.
I think they have too much. I think Nathan McKinnon is just this year. Just look what they did. Everybody thought that Edmonton was on a roll. You had McDavid. You had. I'll tell you right now, if they had a younger goaltender who's a little bit, I think it would be top. They would still be playing.
Yeah.
They'd be going for game. They'd be going 7 games in that one. But I honestly think that just the firepower of Colorado, they roll 4 lines. It's nonstop.
They're relentless.
It's nonstop.
And even though Tampa's goalie is probably the number 1 in the world, is he going to be able to handle that many shots thrown in his direction night in,
probably
and
not,
night out?
especially with McKinnon and Kel McCarr. And they just absolutely, they can hit you from every which way.
And here's the reason why I think Colorado wins. Corey Perry's Tampa. He always loses a cup. Like the last 2 years, he's lost the cup, and then he joins the team that he loses the cup to.
Beats him. Yeah.
But I think this is the end of the road for Corey Perry.
I think Corey Perry can kiss my ass. Anyway, so on that note, everybody, I want you guys to have a great night. Tom, it's been a real. I'm glad that we finally got back to it.
It was good. It was behind the mic.
It was a little bit of a scare, that's for sure.
We pulled it off.
It was a little bit of a scare when things weren't working out like we hoped they would be, but we got it working out. We're good. everything like that, and more to come. And that's it.
Yep. Stay tuned, and we'll be back at some
Thank
point.
you for listening to another episode
Bye.
of Easy Speak at Speakeasy 330. You can catch us every week at ilogicmedia.com, Apple, and Spotify. Be sure to check us out on Twitter and Instagram at Easy Speak Cast for the latest and up-to-date news. Cheers.